y'all, and welcome to another exciting episode of Down Home Dirt, the show where we dive deep into entrepreneurship with the people who took the plunge and the ups and downs that come with it. And today we are joined with Claudia Rickard. She's an emotional intelligence development specialist and certified consulting hypnotist. She's a speaker and author and the creator of the Bunny Talk process. Hello and welcome.
Hi, thanks so much for having me on here, Duster. It's a pleasure. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming out. This is so great. Yesterday, I just want to tell everybody, we went to Inspire 2024. It's where we met officially in person, but we've met online before. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up in the Triangle.
Okay, so I want everybody to know America is my happy place. And you can hear I'm English. I used to live in America, Virginia Beach, when I was a little girl. I lived there. I did grade 1, 2, and 3. And I absolutely loved it. We had a lake at the bottom of our garden and I would go off and rowing. I don't think my mother ever knew where I was. I was out playing all the time and climbing trees, fishing, you name it. I was outside and I loved it. It's my happy place. I always wanted to return to America because when I was 9 years old, at the end of grade 3, we moved back to England and I went straight into boarding school. And it was a big shock to the system. I don't mind saying. However, I'm fortunate. I do make friends easily, and actually, I loved boarding school as well. So it was fine for me, not for everybody. I always wanted to come back to America. As I say, when we've ever vacationed here, it's been the best vacations out. And got to a stage in our lives, and our youngest was at a point where she could potentially move. We came out to so I actually knew I always wanted to live in North Carolina. So Atlantic Beach is one of my favorite beaches, and that's where we used to vacation a lot when I was a child. So we came over to North Carolina the year before we moved here, and I actually, might laugh at this, I googled best places to live in North Carolina. Well, it came up literally with Apex, Holly Springs, Fuquay, Chapel Hill, Morrisville, the Carey, and they were all so close to each other. So so my husband researched as well. It was the Triangle. Yes, okay, that's like a good place. So we came over and we stayed here in Airbnbs to really properly check it out and what it was like. And we took her to the Apex Friendship Middle School, which was brand new then, hadn't even opened. And so we met the headmistress, and she was very into horses. So we looked at places where she could potentially ride. And that's how it came about.
I did the same thing. Actually, I moved to Asheville first and I was like, this is really cold. I am not a cold person. So I ended up in the Triangle because I was looking for warmer weather and one of the best places to live with a lot of things to do. So it's a great place.
So it is a great place to live.
So I always see you doing this, this, right? Tell us about that. What is that? Yes. Sorry, my hands are just not working.
Okay, yeah, no, it's fine. So it's shadow puppets. It's something I mean, and I know everybody can do this. Do you ever remember playing shadow puppets with your children when they were little, or when you were little? That's it. There you go. It's just something easy to do, And now my husband was forces, Royal Navy. So, and in the Navy, they're away for a long, long time. So, 10 months at a time, they can be deployed. And my daughter would get into bed and they should be like 2 or 3. And so she's our daughter. We've got 5 in total. And she would get into bed with me and I was doing shadow puppets first of all, but then she really liked this little bunny bit and she would talk to me, hello, mummy. And I'd go, hello. And so we played bunnies, okay? Mummy bunny and baby bunny. And we roll on. We're doing this for years and years. And I end up teaching her the days of the week, months of the year, or simple math wrote. It was just an easy way to do it because she didn't even know she was doing it because she was playing. As far as she was concerned, she was playing. And sometimes I would be the baby bunny and she'd be the teacher or mummy bunny. I would get it wrong on purpose and she would go, it's okay, just have another go. So She learnt to be kind, because that's what I would say to her, because this and this, I had no idea what I was doing. I was creating an anchor. So sometimes, Duster, you will see people who, when they've won in their a tournament, especially golf players, they'll go, yes, like that. Well, that is an anchor into victory. Okay. They're
Oh.
powering that feeling in. And same with my daughter and I, we were actually creating an anchor like that into our body. It was being somaticized into our body. Now we roll on, we move to America. Okay. So she's now nearly 13, and she's, unfortunately, it's 2019, because we all know what happens in 2020, COVID. And so there was hardly any grade 8 and no grade 9. And there's a lot of time with her thoughts. And she starts to self harm. Okay. And that is, obviously, it's horrendous for her. And it's very hard as a mother, and especially in the field I'm in, because it's like I ought to be able to help her. Now, she comes through to my bedroom. It's New Year's Eve. In fact, it's New Year's Day, because it's 3 o'clock in the morning, sobbing, sobbing her eyes out. It is a horrible sob.
Mm.
I get out, I get into bed with her, and I hold her. Can you tell me what it is? No. And don't ask me what made me do it, Duster. Mummy Bunny out. And she got her baby bunny out, which is as big as my bunny now, but with the little ears down. And she told Mummy Bunny what had happened to her. Now, she couldn't tell me, but she could tell Mummy Bunny, because Mummy Bunny offers safety, love, security, unconditional love. And that game that we had played all that time ago, she was now, she remembered it. And she remembered it because she had somaticized that safety feeling. And she knew that Mummy Bunny wouldn't criticize or make her feel bad in any way. It was a safe place. And this is what we were able to, discuss. I said to her, I said, and I stayed in there for like 2 hours. And eventually, she was then talking to me. The bunnies went down, because she knew that she felt safe enough. She'd said the worst thing for her. And I feel so grateful that we had that, because since then she's always been able to talk to me. And she's 18 now, she overshares. I don't care. I feel honored that she talks to me like that. And I have since said to her as well, darling, if I ever get dementia, I may forget you, but will you talk to me with the bunnies? Because I will never forget the feeling of the bunnies. Now, I was training in something called Sleep Talk for Children. And the lady that was training me, she said to me, Claudia, you've got to do something with that. So I did. I wrote an ebook, A Parent's Journey and the Bunny Talk Process. So it's got the whole process in there about playing and building this anchor, and my story with my daughter, and why this is so important, because it's a communication skill that you can use with your teenagers if ever they need you and they're in crisis. Because when they were children, you had anchored that in. Now, the book is also about things, best practice for parents to discuss before they even get married. Uh, Best things to do for children when there's a divorce, and best things to do for children for step parenting. Because as I say, I've got 5 children, so 2 from my first marriage and 2 stepchildren, and then I've been remarried now for nearly 22 years, and she's our daughter. Now, I spoke about this at the biggest conference in the world, biggest hypnosis conference in the world, rather, Hypnothoughts Live. And I had 2 people come up to me and say, Claudia, are you going to make this into a course? And I said, well, no, because everybody can do bunnies. You know, it's like, that's why I wrote the book. It's for parents. And they went, oh, right. Okay. Well, if you don't, I will. And I went, no,
No.
it's, it's my story. It's my daughter's and mine story. So no. So I thought about it and I thought, well, of course I can make it into a course because I'm an emotional intelligence development specialist. And when I see children, I like to see the parents as well, first of all, and I share the diagrams, the emotional intelligence, so that they get the awareness and they get the aha moments of, and they often say, oh, it's us.
Yep.
Oh. And because it's so just through storytelling and through the diagrams, and so I'm not saying it's you. They start to take responsibility and they realize that it's the environment that they're creating for their child. So now I've got the parents on board, and then they also understand that perhaps they have some issues, past issues, that need resolving themselves because this is why they are behaving the way they do. So now I have them as clients. Now, they may well bring the child in, and that's fine. The parent can stay or the parent can leave. Now, the way I work with children, again, this is trained in the course because this is how I work with children. So, and now it rains a lot in England. I don't know if you know that,
No.
Duster. But this is one reason, again, it was like really nice to live in North Carolina. Uh, so I used to play with my children with big bits of paper, and we'd draw around their bodies, and they would fill them in with like just colour them in. It was just it was an exercise to do through play when it's raining, and I do actually do that with my clients, with my children clients. And I thought, well, I'm just going to adapt that with all the bunny. And and so that is what I do. And I use, and now because I'm trained in eye movements, I'm an IEMT practitioner, I'm a certified havening practitioner, advanced blast technique practitioner, I'm a master NLP practitioner. It's all eye movements, okay? Loads of eye movements. There's loads of neuroscience behind it. And because, Duster, when we sleep, we have something called REM, rapid eye movement,
Mhm.
and our eyes go left and right when we're asleep, and they pocket what's happened to us during the day.
Hmm.
So, say if somebody's beat you with their horn and you're going, I was just about to go, it just turned green. What are you're in such a hurry, it's like didn't need to do that. And that may be whirring through your mind a bit, thinking, oh, you didn't need to beat me, that sort of thing. Or that night you sleep on it, the next day you don't even think about it. Now, when there is something that has happened that is big, that is a significant event in your life, or it's continual, and then it stays it's on the lateral side of the amygdala. I don't want to use too many big words, and it stays there. And now that is what I then can clear with the eye movements, because I then get people to think about that thing, feel it. They've already put it out on the paper, or they're thinking about it, feeling it. And then the eye movements, I do that. And the bunny, so I do it with this, and the bunny pulls it out. And it works. And there's a lot more to it than that. However, the idea is that I have now created this course. I have trained it to therapists, I have trained it to coaches, hypnotists. It's fun to learn
Yeah, it
because
looks
it's
fun.
so interactive. It's incredibly interactive because we're drawing around each other's bodies. The first bit, again, with all the emotional intelligence and the diagrams, is so much fun because people, and it's easy for people to learn because I draw it for my clients. I don't make anything difficult. It's people get it. They go, oh, that's why. And so it's really there is something called KISS. All right, the KISS principle. Keep it simple, sweetheart.
Yes.
We don't need to be using big language. We can use the word poo. Get your poop in a group. It is okay. People understand that. Their brain, their head feels like they've got a whole load of, poop in it. And it's like, so that is what I clear. And that is what I explain to everybody else, of how to train it themselves when they are working with their clients. So I'm training now, and I absolutely love it. As I say, I trained it just this last weekend. I'm training it next weekend online to people who do work online. And the idea is then you just draw a gingerbread man. But the bunny, we build anchors. And when we build an anchor, it's into safety, love, security, unconditional love. That's what parents can do. We as therapists, or hypnotists, or whatever you are, coach, you can build anchors with your clients through a place of feeling calm, when you're relaxed, or when you are laughing so much that you want to pee your pants. It is that is what you can build anchors into. And that's what I show how people how to do that. It's it, you know it's very I love it. It's very simple, yet it's very effective and incredibly efficient. So it's like, I don't need to hear the story. When, to me, Duster, when people keep retelling the story, they embed it more and more into their belief system. And because we are human beings, we end up deleting certain bits, distorting bits, adding bits to the story, because we all want people to feel sorry for us. It's a human trait. So we can make the story completely, as I say, distort it. It's a distorted story now. That's why I don't want to hear the story. I know you know how you feel, and where you feel it in your body, what the emotion is behind it, what color it is, how it smells, what texture it is. And people are drawing this with it, so it's got either jags, or it's like this. And then we take that out, and then we fill the void as well. What is something that you want instead? That goes on it. They draw it on the body, and hey presto, the healing takes place.
That is amazing. I'm kind of speechless because I'm like, wow, that actually makes a lot of sense because I've dealt with a lot of abuse and things of that nature, my entire life. And I'm just like, wow, if I could just take that out and rewrite the story and fill that void, I think I'd be a lot better.
Yeah, and I do, because the neuroscience behind the eye movements, when you're actually doing that with somebody, the you ignite the amygdala, but then when you're doing the eye movements, they're having the REM, and it goes back on into the hippocampus where it belongs.
That is so
So
interesting. Wow.
yeah,
I'm learning with everyone else right now. This is amazing.
yeah. So I say to people, I'm not magic, but I can turn that big like frog, that feeling you may have there when when you talk about the thing that happened to you, because often it comes up behind people's eyes, makes them cry. So I can turn, so as I say, I can't take it away, but I can turn it back into a tadpole or frog spawn, so that people can talk about it, can think about it. They no longer have the emotional charge. It's just something that happened.
That is amazing. Healing is so important, especially in as we get older and things that we've held on to, like you said, from when we were kids. And I think that also, because I had children very young, I think that if I had healed myself, I don't think that I would have put some of that damage onto my kids either.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's so helpful. Sorry, I'm gonna cry now. Like that's so great. I'm just sorry. Let me get it together. Hold on one second. Whew.
yeah. And I can help people effectively and efficiently. Sometimes my average is 5 sessions, and however, sometimes when the person is ready for change, change happens. The magic happens. I literally guide the person that you can see them physically changing. You can feel them being lighter, literally sitting up taller. Their skin looks fresher. Their eyes are more open. Their soul looks refreshed. The stuff's gone back on into the hippocampus, back
That's
out into the ether, and
oh,
taken it out.
that is so awesome. Well, I'm gonna have to try this out because I've been in therapy for a long time, and while I feel like it does help, I don't feel like it I don't want to say fixes, but I don't think it heals me.
Okay. And I do see people now. Therapy is brilliant, okay,
Yes.
because it's, and I work alongside therapists, and as I say, I'm training therapists. Therapists definitely have that place. Therapist, I see therapists, they come to me for their issues. I've seen a psychologist, she came to me for an issue. Uh, and therapists send me their clients to troubleshoot, and then they go back to therapy for other stuff. I am not an American therapist. There are things that they can do, but there's definitely things that I do that are so different. And the reason why I use hypnosis is because it tidies everything up um, into a really nice package at the end, if you like, of our session. So if I do a lot of inner child in a significant emotional event work with the eye movements, or whichever ones I do, may do havening, then afterwards I tidy it up with hypnosis. I don't tell people what to do. I invite them and they guide themselves. So they get a gift, they have a force field protecting them, and they always run a movie through their head, looking the way they want to look, feeling the way they want to feel, and doing all the things that they want to do. And as I say, without the stuff that we've released. So it just affirms it. And I record a lot of the work that we do, their hypnosis, so that they can listen to it, because why not? But yeah, I clear people's landscape. I'll just see if I've got, excuse me a minute, let me just get one of my balls here. This is an expandable ball that I use to explain about the poop on, on somebody's amygdala. So this represents somebody's amygdala. And yeah, it's like, so when we are in that fight, flight, freeze situation, we go like that. And we're meant to. It looks after us. We're meant to do that so that we respond or react. So that you would literally jump on a chair if a copperhead came into your room. You would literally jump up, and because you go like that, and it gave you a shot of cortisol, shot of adrenaline, and it gave you the energy to do that. So it's brilliant. It looks after us. We need that. Now, when there is something significant and we're trapped, it's when we're trapped, then it's called an AMPA receptor, and it's stuck on here like a big blob of poo. And it stays there, and then it can catastrophize into sloppy poo. So that is what I do. And somebody said to me, "Oh, so Claudia, you're the pooper scooper." I said, "Yes, I'm the pooper scooper." So that is what I do, and that is what I'm training other people to do now too.
That is
Uh,
amazing.
mhm. Yeah,
So
and as I say, it's effective and efficient.
it it sounds like it. I actually can't wait to try it. I'm really excited about that. Maybe we could clear some poop off here and I can get my poop in a group then.
Yes, we get your poop in a group. So I work intuitively as well. I just do. I just kind of know what's going on for people. I I'm just blessed that I can do that. So it comes. So I am able to help people very easily, and I love it. I absolutely love the work I do. And as I say, we don't need to hear the story, but it works brilliantly. And yeah, so we get the poop in the group. You're going to feel it, and then we deal with it, and then we heal it, and that is what
That
I do.
sounds so wonderful. I love that you do this. It makes me so happy. I'm so glad that we met.
Yeah,
So tell
thank you
me
for
about
having me.
how like you want to see this grow. I know that you've got the book and you've got seminars. Is there anything else that you're thinking? Are you trying to like make this a practice all over the world? What is your goals?
All over the world. I've been invited to Australia to train it in person. I've got my little stickers. I like stickers. So these are Bunny Talk stickers to give to, as I say, hopefully everybody, all the children will be having little stickers like that soon. Uh, yes, I've been very lucky. Or have I been lucky? I don't know whether we create our own luck. People have different opinions on that. I have been in a situation where I've had opportunities. And I was able to talk about this again, showcase my workshop that I do. So I only had an hour to do it, but I got given an extra talk at the Hypnothoughts Live conference this year. To say there was like 1,000 hypnotists there, and some big names saw me, and they've talked about me on their podcast, and they even had their thumbnail doing this because they loved it. They loved the story, and they know that it will be help. It will help the world. They know that it will be big,
No,
and
absolutely.
it's it's new. It's non-invasive for children, and I was also lucky enough. I showcased it somewhere else. So I'm training it up in Chicago soon in October at another conference up there. Uh, a man, again, a wonderful man. He's called Larry Garrett. He saw it. He's been doing hypnosis for 54 years, and he he was just like blown away by it. And we also know that this isn't just for children; it's for people with inner child work.
Ooh.
Because, yeah, because when you start to play, people start to regress naturally and they become their little people. We all have little people inside us. And when it's out on the paper, it starts to come out. And somebody had a natural age regression into their child, and we were able to heal something in front of like 20, 30 people with the bunny eye movements. And she had held on to that. And we all just went, oh, because I am learning about what this can do, what this can still do. What I do know, Duster, it gave my daughter a voice. And she was able to go back to one of the people that had done this to her and say, how old was I?
Wow.
Yeah. And she needs some work, actually. I'm hoping somebody who's trained she'll work with somebody, because it's hard to work with your own
Mhm.
children. So but if I can train somebody in it, I'm hoping they'll do it on her, because it is so effective and so efficient. Yeah.
No,
So
absolutely.
gave her a voice, gives people a voice.
I feel like we need that a lot,
Yeah.
especially since like we're getting like I'm getting older and I'm just like I feel like I'm finally finding my voice, and I understand that I'm like close to 40, but at the same time, like I never really had one growing up or
Yeah.
when I was younger. So now it's like, wait, I'm a whole person. I have my own voice and I've got things that I want to say and things I want to heal. So that's fabulous. So do you do sessions virtually or in person?
Both, because I see people up in Boston and all over Chicago, in England. So yeah, I do both, but I do in person. Yeah, I love in person, but yeah, I do both.
I think that would be really more effective for children to be in person, definitely.
Yeah, but I do, because when we're doing this, we're up and off the floor. Children can't sit still.
No.
So for a child to have to sit there and just like sit and talk, I mean, I know that's why they have play therapy. And when I was speaking to somebody, Claudine, actually yesterday, she's a therapist, and I said it's not, you can just take a part of what I'm training and add it to your bits. Take bits, because every client is different.
Hmm.
So it's not just this way and that's the only way. You might think, oh, actually that will be good. So it's about implementing everything else that you know as well. So it's a wonderful tool that you can then elaborate on as well if you choose to, or you can just do this. So people
No,
get a choice.
absolutely. I just want to circle back around how you mentioned that you used that you wrote a book and that you had done that first. So can you tell us a little bit about like the what made you get into the book and what made you want to do this?
Okay, so that was because, as I say, that lady I was training with, Cheryl Ellman, to do the sleep talk process, which is the 2-minute gift a parent gives to a child when they're asleep at night. It's nothing to do with sleep. It's the parent actually helping the child through certain specific words, a phrase, and then the child feels that unconditional love. So, and they do it consistently. So I see people for that as well. So I was just telling her, because I'm all about children, all right? You've got to nurture our children because they are the next generation. And and there's so much nowadays. We've got social media, and it's good and bad. Okay, so people need to remember that actually children get a lot of love from the social media as well. Their friends are, they're there as helpful people as well as unfortunately kids can be really mean. We always know that kids have always been mean
Mhm.
because they have. Now the the book, the front cover, you're going to love this. I jumped out of an aeroplane to get the front cover, doing the bunny talk gesture. All right. Now, I did that as a metaphor because that is what it is like being a parent, literally free falling.
Yes.
There is no handbook. And actually, I thought, well, actually, this would be really helpful, which is why I wrote that it is very simple, the ebook. It is easy to read. Somebody could read it in 20 minutes because parents don't have time to read. They want to know it now. Now, I could have made it into a book, a big book, and charged $9.99 for it. It is actually $2.99 be, because all I needed to do was just say the same thing with about and fluff, make fluff it out with loads of other different ways of saying it. Well, what's the point of that? Parents don't have time. So it is a simple book. And as I say, I wrote that. And the parachute, the bunny talk process, the book is meant to be the parachute for parents. Because yes, it's like free falling. And here's a parachute for you.
No, absolutely. There is no book on parenting that is going to help me because every kid is different. And I've got three children, obviously, three different situations. My son has autism. He's 19. His needs are going to be different. What he needs is always going to be different. Then I've got a daughter who's going to be 18 and same thing. And then I've got a 9-year-old and, they're just so different. And even though I've got the older kids, that doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean I know what I'm doing,
No,
because
I
it's
know.
different.
Yeah, every child, and they have different friends,
Hmm.
so they have different peer group pressures, different teachers, I mean that's a lot. Teachers have and coaches and things like that. They're in a really big place of power there, and a teacher can either make or break a child.
Oh,
Uh, and I know I've been there. So, and I think everybody will have a story, a favorite teacher and and the worst teacher. So it's the book is simple, but it has got the bunny talk process in there, and it's got another way to tell a story to a child at night time. Teaches, your child is the story, so you don't need books. If you haven't got a book, you can do that anytime. As I say, it's a simple book. What you might like to know, though, is that my ex-husband wrote me a 1-star review on it.
that is interesting.
I know he didn't need to. He did not need to. I don't mention him. He's not. It's not about him. Yet he felt he needed to tell everybody who he was.
Says
Okay,
a lot about him.
and, and that's all I'm going to say on that. It's
Absolutely.
like it's yeah, it was unnecessary.
I
That's why he's an
understand.
ex.
Exactly. I deal with the same thing. I have an ex-husband who just feels the need to constantly tell the internet how he feels about me. And I'm like, sweetheart, we have not been together in almost 5 years. Like, nobody cares. But tell everybody
Well,
where they can find the book.
it's on Amazon.
Oh,
Amazon,
and we're going to
and
link that with the episode.
yeah, it's an ebook. So and Kindle app is free, so you can easily get it. As I say, it won't take you long to read, and it's very helpful. I do wish I had actually had that discussion with my ex-husband, to know that, because there's 10 questions you could ask yourselves before you even have a child, or when you do have one, just make sure that you're both singing on the same hymn sheet, because everybody comes from different models of the world, and what you might think a way to parent is not the way they're thinking the way to parent is. And it's so as the children growing up, you may be doing one thing and they're doing another, and it's like no, and then unfortunately that's where the arguments can happen, and it's just not good so for the children. So this book is literally for a child, yeah,
No, that's
to help.
great because I know me and my ex-husband, we were on the same page, but we were in different books. So it was not working out well. And I wish that I would have
Yeah,
known that beforehand and had some kind of guidance, because I feel like when I was a child, my mother told me that everybody has kids, it just happens to you. And I'm a kid. How would I know any different? And so now that I've had children, I'm like, no, no, no. There's like processes and steps that you can take, and questions to answer before you do all that. Like, it doesn't just happen.
yeah,
So
exactly.
it's
So
great
it's
that
an
you have a
easy
guide.
to read book for the masses. So it's $2.99 because
Oh,
it's for everybody.
that's fabulous. And where else can everybody find you? Are you on YouTube, Facebook?
I'm everywhere. Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. But the best place for just go to my website because it's easiest. And I'm getting a new one created soon as well. So Claudia Rickard hypnosis.com,
I
because
love
everything's
it. I'm so excited for you. This is such an amazing thing. And I'm glad that you get to travel and teach other people about it, because this is very eye opening. It's very helpful.
It is. It is. I'm very excited about it, and I have lots of free e-guides on my website as well. So there's a free e-guide for overpower your overwhelm for caregivers. So I'm a Nightingale dementia consultant. I say memory actually because I'm in the state of North Carolina. So it's for caregivers though. It's best practice for caregivers and how to talk to somebody who is living with dementia. So there's an e-guide on that, which is brilliant. They're all brilliant. And then I've got another one, 30 days to lighter and tighter, just to help people to be healthy, because healthy body, healthy mind, and then you're less likely to get dementia or vascular dementia anyway, because it's about looking after yourself, taking self responsibility.
Absolutely. I love this. I'm so excited. We're going to share all of those links with the episode so people can connect with you. And if they want to book a session, they just go to your website.
Just go to my website, send a submission form, and I like to talk to my people first before they then book, because I like to make sure that we've had that almost that first interaction, so you can first of all hear that I'm English, and is that a problem for you? And I will also know. So if I get somebody who wants to stop smoking, I will ask them on the phone, and if I get a hesitant, oh well, I say when you're ready. Whereas if I book them, then they're paid and then they come, and then it's like, well, it's a waste of their money, a waste of my time, and I get results. So I want to
Absolutely.
work with people that are ready for change. So when people are ready for change, the magic happens.
So, is there any advice you'd like to leave our listeners with before we go about your process and booking and having a healthier mind, I should say?
So yes, do I invite you to go on my website and get some free stuff on there. There's 3 relaxation recordings attached to the Overpower Your Overwhelm. Loads of just healthy, useful things that you can do every day to be more centered and grounded, so that you can live your best life for you. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this with us today. I cannot wait to share it with everyone else. And join us next week for another amazing episode of Down Home Dirt.
And thank you for having me. Thank you, Duster. Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank you.